Let me just move that.
It's a big trophy. And it's a big deal.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a good match. Play well. The first frame, Judd Trump to break.
And Trump, you know, chasing snooker history. He's trying to win his 11th consecutive ranking event final, which would equal the record of Stephen Hendry.
Yeah, you're right, Phil, and who's to say he won't? He's on an incredible run at the moment. It's Judd Trump. Kyren's beaten him before, and he'll fancy the job. He had to have a go at that long red, and where the red's finished is the worst possible outcome for Kyren. Offered up an easy chance straight away.
1. Six. 7.
Just a little short of pace there. I think Judd wanted to be in a position where he could split the reds off 2 cushions with the blue and leave that red over the pocket as a reserve. That's gone now. So a quick rethink.
12.
Considering leaving an angle on the pink after this red, that he can split the reds and nudge that loose red from the pack towards this bottom corner pocket.
13.
I think he's gone far enough for that, but I think if he leaves the cue ball where the pink is now, he'll be able to pot that red anyway. As we watch our referee Marcel Eckhart measure the space for the pink. This could change things. Can he still get through to this red now the pink's respotted? That's very tight. I don't think Judd thought that pink would go on its spot. I think he thought that was going to go at the back of the pack. Can he turn that over with right-hand side? I don't think he can. So that's end of break. That misjudgment.
Judd Trump. 19.
$128 players came, now only 2 remain. It's been group play all the way through for 20 days plus. Now, though, it's traditional. Mano a mano. Best of 5.
Foul. And a miss. Kyren Wilson 4. And a free. from there.
I suspect Judd might be asked to play from behind the green. I don't think he could have got any closer to the red without hitting it. Four cushions onto the red behind the black spot. 3.
Foul and a miss. Carter was 4.
As I say, I think he is trying to hit this from behind. Hits it off. If he hits the red directly, then he risks pushing it on. But
Could see more, yeah.
I think he's trying to come up from behind the red and use 4 cushions. So a small adjustment to be made. Very good. Appreciated by Kyren Wilson. We'd have had a nice round of applause for that if we were playing in normal times. Good cue ball from Kyren. Black ball being where it is, just causing a little bit of a problem. It's very close to the natural path of the cue ball on its way back to baulk here, so Judd will have to either hit these very thin or a bit thicker than he wants. Oh, and he's fluked to red. Can't legislate for that. He took the thick approach, chose to open the reds and throw the cue ball around behind the back of the black. But no one foresaw that red dropping in the pocket. I don't think it's curtains for Kyren here, though. I don't think Judd will be trying to pot anything from there. But he will be trying to put Kyren in as much trouble as he can. You do here is you have a walk along that baulk cushion and you just say, right, where wouldn't I want to be? Where is the most awkward place on this table to put the cue ball? Doesn't really want to use the green because it's blocking access to that red on the green spot. But he can't use the brown. Not as straightforward as it looks, this. If he moves the green, that means Kyren will be able to hit the red that's near the green spot and in turn put Judd back in trouble. So he doesn't want to accidentally play himself into problems here, which is why he's taking an inordinate amount of time on this shot. But it does need some thought.
Trump. 1.
In the end, he realised that he couldn't play the shot and prevent Kyren having the opportunity of putting him back in trouble himself, so he just tried to make the shot for Kyren as awkward as possible by getting that cue ball as close to the cushion as he could.
One.
Oh, what a shot that is.
What a statement. Brilliant.
1.
don't know if that red next to the black's potable. If it is, he'll play it now. Even though of the 4 reds he's on, it's the most difficult one, because it's the one that unlocks the black, and with it, a chance to win this frame. He must think he can get to the potting angle on the red. And he has a choice here. He can either pot the red with a hint of right-hand side, check side in this case, and bring the cue ball back up that line for the black, or try and thread the cue ball through the other reds. In the end,
5.
sort of went between the two. I think he's okay.
Yes, you can tell from his urgent body language. Position on black has been retained. Didn't want the pink to go under the side cushion, but he's got plenty of other colours to go for.
I made the comment earlier in the week, Phil, that I do think Kyren's a better player. He looks a better player when he picks his pace up. And as you said, that red to the right middle was a statement of intent, wasn't it?
He wants to win every single match he plays, but when he plays trump,
20.
the intensity increases. You might be surprised to know that he leads 8-7 in career meetings. It was 8-5. Trump has won the last couple. Quite recently, European Masters and English Open. A couple of quarterfinals. And just before lockdown in the Gibraltar Open final last season,
28.
no crowds. That was the first time that crowds were stopped. These two played at a classic final. Trump winning 4-3 from 3-2 down, making breaks of 144, 125 and 123. It's entirely natural to be intimidated by Judd Trump.
36.
But Kyren Wilson isn't. And let's not forget,
37.
it was only in August that he beat Trump 13-9 in the quarterfinals of the World Championship, thereby continuing the so-called Crucible curse. No first-time winner has ever gone back there and defended the title.
44.
And Trump was denied that pleasure by the man at the table.
45.
Well, in the intro, I was discussing with Radzi that there are only a handful of players who think they can beat Trump at the moment. Judd really has started to create that aura of invincibility around himself that, you know, the really, really great players have.
52.
But Kyren would be on the list of players who think on their day they can win.
53.
He isn't intimidated by anybody. He's not that type.
And that's not a recent thing either. Captured his first world ranking title, the 2015
58.
Shanghai Masters, at Trump's expense. 10-9.
59.
Making a beautiful 70-plus break in the decider. He's made of the right stuff.
And he's showing that here. This frame's over
64.
already. His contribution of 64 has already been enough, whatever happens.
64. And a first frame.
It was an exquisite opening red to the middle pocket. From there, Wilson has taken a 1-0 lead in this race to 3. This is the final of the Bet Victor Championship League. Kyren Wilson looking to win his first world ranking tournament on home soil has made a really good start. The initial red to launch his 64 break in the first frame. A real confidence builder.
Well, that in itself is a very telling sign of Kyren Wilson's state of mind. Choosing to play safe off the main body of the pack and open the reds. There's another statement to Judd Trump that he's not frightened. Whether it turns out to be the right shot or not remains to be seen, but it's certainly a statement, as many players would have played off the already loose reds there and kept it tight. Looks like he's given Judd a bit of a problem here.
the first frame established the ground rules. If he wasn't already aware, Trump now knows if he errs, Wilson will pounce.
Yeah, that truly is a fabulous shot. Played with immense amounts of topspin to arc the cue ball into the cushion. Forget the red, watch the cue ball. Arcs it into the cushion there and sends it back to bulk. Now, he's a little fortunate, though, those reds haven't ran into potable positions, but he was really trying to get the white home, and he judged that perfectly.
Yes, he accepted that he couldn't legislate from what the reds did. Just knew he could control the cue ball. Then it was a matter of hope.
Now, can Kyren thread the cue ball through that gap of blue and pink and onto that red near the black? And are they a plant into this corner pocket? He thought they were. He overcut it. Now the cue ball's running loose. And he hasn't gotten away with it.
One.
Just having a look there to see if the black's potable to the right-hand black pocket. If it is, that'll dictate where he puts the cue ball here for the next red. He just tried to squeeze behind that red.
5.
And I think he's covered the other one, so he can still pop the 1-2 away from him.
Six.
And now he's away.
$13. 14.
And the mental battle that goes on between players in these scenarios is what's taking place now. Kyren hit Judd for 6 in the first frame. Judd will be wanting to hit Kyren back just as hard, if not harder, this frame.
$21. 22.
Could play the screw into those 3 reds that are a little pyramid all of their own. That would open things up. But playing with topspin, so choosing something else.
$29.
And even for the great Judd Trump, under pressure, this kind of red can be wobbled.
30.
That's one of the most intriguing things about these two. They've got the ability to soak up pressure.
$35. 36.
Now he has got the angle here if he wants to play this with topspin off 2 cushions and into that cluster of 6. Or he can play for the loose red. Just depends how he sees it. He did play the split, and how's his luck? too great at
14.
first glance. Played it well. You always need a bit of luck when you play shots like that. I'm not sure if those two reds are a plant to the middle pocket. That in itself could be lucky. Well, they're not. And they could be made, but it's very risky.
42.
Oh, well played. Yeah, this had to be made. He had to aim that first red quite a long way left, and in itself knocked it into a potable position. That was why I said it was risky, because he was always going to leave it, but he didn't have any thoughts about missing it. And after the first frame, where Kyren hit him for a 64 break, this is a very good response from the world number one.
56. $57.
This game is so skillful, but it's not all about skill. It's about heart. It's about maturity, and it's about desire.
63.
Trump has got them all.
$64. $69. $70.
I'm sure we'll see him now with a bit of naughty snooker. Try and move one, at least one of the reds in this shot that's on a cushion. Could be more. And he had eyes for two. Settled for
78.
one.
$83. $84. $89.
He loves a century, does Judd Trump. Work cut out to make one here, though, now. Little faith.
90.
I've got little faith.
Yeah, I didn't want to say, Phil. I'll let you call that one.
92.
I suppose it was a slightly big pocket, actually, looking at that, but he didn't need the other red.
$98. $100.
Yeah, this really has been a very, very good break, as I say, especially in the context of the first frame, where Kyren really took the frame by the scruff of the neck with his break of 64. I don't think Judd Trump really needed to establish himself in this match. The world number one doesn't tend to have to do that, but if he did,
107.
hasn't he done it?
$112. $118. The second frame.
Doesn't bother
Judd.
with the black. The job is done. He's retaliated, and retaliated in spectacular fashion. It's down to a best of three. Frame 3 is coming up after the break. This is the 21st and final day of the Bet Victor Championship League. It started in mid-September. So many matches, so much good stuff.
Just trying to break.
But still, we don't know the champion.
Very similar long shot left for Kyren as in the first frame. Tough to get around the back of the black with that red in the way. But he pots it this time. Used the red as a stopper. Great shot. Yeah, couldn't avoid that red, so decided to use it.
Eight. Nine.
Oh, that was a bit top jawy, wasn't it? I think for a second he thought he'd missed that. He has finished in an angle here. He could even split the reds here if he wanted to, off two cushions. I'm sure he'll play for one of the loose ones. I mentioned the split because that was the perfect position, and he is going to have to do it at some stage 14. With only two loose reds here. And they're not a great bunch to go into.
$15.
Can't go into them from there. Have to play for this loose red. And now it's just about deciding which colour's the best one to use to get into those reds. I mean, in an ideal world, you'd use the brown, which is what he's looking at there. Stun off the side cushion and into that gap between the pink and those reds. That is the absolute ideal scenario, but he has to cover a lot of miles to get in that position. He has tried to get up there, just needs that
23.
to slow down. And he won't be using the brown, he might be using the yellow. It's a little bit thin, this yellow. This needs a lot of left-hand side and a lot of screw. Yeah, wasn't quite the right angle for the yellow there. Just played himself into trouble.
25.
But good thinking. Just needed that wider angle to get into that great gap there between the pink and reds, has to be said. If he could have got in there, they would have spread far and wide. Oh, but that's a bad mistake.
Foul.
Oh, and that's actually worked out
Kyren Wilson, 25.
quite well
Judd
for him, hence the apology.
Yes, this is a rarity, but fully warranted. A lucky in-off.
Yeah, he was trying to literally take the paint off that ball. He wanted to keep them tight. He didn't want to play the quarter ball and spread the reds open. So he was trying to just whisker the red on the way past. And this is a good shot. That's very good. Lock down this side of the table. And he does have a
Cheers, thank you.
full ball on that red, so he's going to get 2 free goes at playing this shot before he gets warned. This is another one. Take the paint off it. Any thicker, he could go in off. Very nice. Nothing wrong with his eyes. Very classy shot from Judd. That shot there tells you how highly he rates Kyren Wilson. Didn't want to play it any thicker than that to open the reds, but played to perfection.
He couldn't be more engaged, Trump, for 2 reasons. He loves to win tournaments, and he loves to beat Wilson. Mind you, the feeling's mutual.
Well, do you know, I think he played that. There was no apology.
One.
And he did spend a lot of time looking at the pack down this end. I thought he was looking to see if he would push a red towards a pocket. As it was, I think he meant to do that.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, that wasn't a fluke. Well picked out. You just got to be careful with these extended rests. We've seen a few funny things. The Mark Allen one at the Masters a few years ago stands out a mile, where he played the shot with the long rest and extension and couldn't get out the way and collided with, made every ball in the room move. You just have to just mind your work with these things because they're a bit ungainly.
With any kind of rest, though, Kyren Wilson is an absolute magician.
Just awkward here. That the blue's causing him a problem, and the red nearest the pocket, because he's got to reach over that, just stretch over that red nearest the pocket, balance the rest on his elbow, and try and pot the yellow. That to pull up there. Very nicely played.
For many years, Sean, you were regarded as the best player with the rest in the game. Now you've got a rival, the man at the table.
Yeah, he is very good. I'll certainly accept that. He's exceptionally good with it.
Grudgingly accepted?
Well, I'm still the best, Phil. But I'm happy to accept he's in second place.
Hope you haven't heard some of my recent commentaries.
Oh, I've listened to all of it, don't you worry. I'll tell you what he is unbelievably good at, though. He generates so much spin and pace with shots with the rest. You know, when you're playing with the rest, people say, give me some tips for the rest. And really, you would just want to keep the shot simple with that implement. It's not easy to use. A lot of players don't like using it. You know, there've been some very high-profile players over the years, really not like it. Kyren doesn't alter his shot choice based on whether he's using the rest or not. He plays shots with big, long screw backs, run inside, check side. He is a fabulous rest player, there's no doubt.
Seven.
He's just a fabulous player all around.
$14. $15.
Regardless of the result tonight, Wilson will end this tournament as world number 5. But with his mentality, only number 1 will do.
22. $23.
Yeah, he would have loved to have left that red he's just potted and split the pack on the shot before, but he didn't have the position for that. So now the split on the reds has got to go right. Well, unless the red next to the pink pots, which it clearly does. I got a bit carried away with myself there.
$31.
And he's 52 ahead now. The pink will be 58, so he's only pink-red colour away from Judd Trump requiring snookers in this frame.
$37.
Hasn't done a great deal wrong here, Judd. Just Kyren picked out a wonderful plant in the middle of those reds. Not much Judd could have done about that.
38.
Well, if he does go on to win this frame, which looks overwhelmingly likely, if you think about it, he will have won both of his frames from what seemed like perfectly efficient trump safeties. The red to the middle in the first, and then the plant here.
This is just a little bit more awkward, though, than it might look on your screens. Straight in the heart of the pocket. But no heroics, you see. That was a little bit more difficult than he wanted. Otherwise, he would have played it with backspin and stayed for these reds. But he just ran the cue ball away, just in case he missed it.
Kyren Wilson, 44.
.65 the difference then. Only 59 on, so 2 snookers required for Judd here in this frame. And that's a good start. Doesn't need to pot the black, but if he pots the blue, then he'll need 2 snookers to tie.
Six. Seven.
He tried to just catch the black fuller there and knock it on into a potable position. This has to go in.
Judd trump, 7. Frame conceded.
Looks at his opponent, concedes, and so Kyren Wilson leads by 2 frames to 1. That means he needs just 1 more to overcome Trump in this final and win the Bet Victor Championship League and his first ranking event on UK soil. Judd Trump has arrived at the point of no return. A possible 2 frames left. He has to win them. Of course he can do it. But Kyren Wilson has played a pretty good final so far. A couple of inspirational balls he's knocked in to get in. A red to middle in the first frame led to a break of 64. And that multi-ball plant, when Trump thought he'd got him safe, led to the break of 44 in the third. That saw Wilson regain the lead. But Trump's playing well himself. The frame he did win, the second he won with a 118 break. And so, Sean Murphy, this is far from over.
Absolutely, Phil. Absolutely, but it's now in Kyren's hands. He's on the hill, so to speak. And it'd be interesting to see if he gets a chance to win, how he copes with it. Because everything up to this point has been an aperitif. These nights, when they hand out the trophies, are what we do all the hours of practice for, from being children.
And fine player that he is, it has to be said, Kyren Wilson's lost 6 of the 9 ranking finals he's been involved in.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show that the people he's playing against, you know, they're very good as well. Played some great snooker in those matches along the way and just come up short. And he's building into a very, very good player, is Kyren Wilson. Plays to an incredibly high standard on a very consistent basis. Always, you know, you find him at the latter stages of tournaments. It won't be long, I don't think, till he picks up more ranking events. And dare I say it, one or maybe the full Triple Crown. He's definitely got everything required, that's for sure. The one thing that will be going through his mind, though, just as an aside, now he's got to 2 and only needs 1. He only lives about half an hour away. Grown up in Kettering in Northamptonshire. And the thoughts that he could potentially go on and lift this tournament, his 4th ranking event victory, in front of nobody, with no family here, will be a bit of a bother. But meanwhile, they've decided they're going to have a re-rack, so that wasn't going anywhere.
Yes, it's part of the modern game now. Both players come to swift mutual agreement when they can see that there's no future. And I think it's a really good advent, this kind of thing. Back in the day, players were a lot more stubborn and we used to see really lengthy stalemates. That's what they're playing for, the Bet Victor Championship League trophy. And let's talk money for a moment. £33,000 will go to the winner, 23,000 to the runner-up. And Judd Trump is a cash machine at the moment. The last couple of seasons, he's won over £1 million in both of them.
Just 3 million behind your good self then, Phil.
I wish.
Excellent weight on the cue ball. That has put Judd under a little bit of pressure. Of course, he can play the dump shot on the red to the left of the pink. There's no red behind the black stopping that shot. He's just looking, if I do play that shot, do I leave a potential double? Are those reds a plant? And his body language would suggest they are, or very close to. So it's actually giving him a bit of a problem here. Yeah, there you see them perfectly set to this pocket. So that takes out the option for leaving the cue ball down in that corner. Can't do that. He can't come into either side of the pack. He's now considering, if I run up to the red down the right-hand side, dead weight, what do I leave? A bit of a head scratcher here. he might be able to... Oh no, he's seen something else. Yeah, very clever. Use the red to actually move those reds away from each other. But he was in trouble there, and he has left the red to the yellow pocket. Kyren seeing if the red near the black spot pots to the right centre. That shows how effective a good break-off can be.
One.
Pured it. Absolutely pured it.
When you think he was sitting backstage earlier this evening, thinking Ken Doherty might well beat Joe Perry 3-0 and deprive him of a place in this final. But he's here, and he means business.
4.
Now he's just slightly out of position. It's just an extra roll either way would have been perfect, but he can force this round. He can play like a half stun, half topspin shot and get out for the black into the opposite corner pocket. That kiss on the reds helped. That's just slowed the cue ball down. Just checking, does that red next to the pink go? As we see, he sort of played like a forcing stun there. Too much topspin and he would have lost the cue ball. Good shot. Oh, and he's hit that well. There's that red 2 from the pink go. If that goes, we're okay.
12.
I think it does.
$13.
So the black will put him 20 points ahead. And there's another 5 loose reds at least, possibly with blacks, which would be another 40. So that's 60 without having to open the reds.
And look at the ease with which he did that. Screwing back with reverse side. That's a tough shot, and he made it look elementary.
Yeah, what he does, just from a technical analysis point of view, what he does have is an extremely close bridge hand to the cue ball. And what that does is that gives him an extremely consistent chance of hitting the cue ball in his intended position more often than not. A lot of players have a longer bridge, so that would be classed as pretty close. And what that does is it enables him to more often than not strike the cue ball where intended. A lot of players would lose spin because actually they don't return the tip to their start position.
Different strokes for different folks. Look at the winner of the Championship League back in June, Luca Brissell. He's completely the opposite.
And that's what gets us about sport, isn't it? There's not one way. It's not how, it's how many. Now, as that pink beanery spotted there, does that block that red that it's next to? Does the pink itself pot to this corner pocket?
Thank you. 27.
Well, that red definitely pots to the left centre pocket, so this is quickly becoming a very good chance for Kyren Wilson.
Yeah. 28.
Suffered a bit of a kick there. That cue ball hasn't gone through at all. Neither of these players uses the more accepted reduced friction brand of chalk, of which there are a few now kicking around the market. They're both users of more traditional chalk, which is grittier. Tends to cause less miscues, but does cause more kicks. One of which we saw there. There you see that close bridge hand. A nice compact position, able to screw the ball back
35.
with minimal ease. He's going to have to move those reds at some stage. He won't want to move that red on the cushion. That's a little bit of an insurance policy. He's got 3 reds in potable positions now around the cluster, and then he will have to move those 5. But it's in moments like this,
43.
with a chance to win and take the trophy home, this is where you find out what you've got as a snooker player. And he's chose to move the reds now.
44.
And he's fine on the blue. This is now a great chance to win frame and match.
Just to repeat, Judd Trump has won his last 10 ranking final appearances. Is that golden run about to be punctured? As for Kyren Wilson, he's on the cusp of his 4th ranking title after the Shanghai
49.
Masters 2015, Paul Hunter Classic 2018 and last year's German Masters.
50.
This is where we use that word, composure. Just needs to keep his heart rate down. Try and stay as chilled out as he possibly can. He knows how important this is. These next few shots are going to be.
57.
He just lost the cue ball slightly. Can still pop this red, obviously, but it's a little bit more difficult than it should have been. Very nicely played.
58.
So many players over the years, hundreds of professionals who've come and gone, would crave Wilson's temperament.
This just needs to pull up. Maybe a bit of adrenaline in that one.
60.
Does the red go to the right centre pocket underneath the pink? Not sure it does.
Didn't expect a misjudgment there.
Yeah, when you think he had the whole margin of error anywhere from the side cushion towards the red he played for, anywhere there, and he was on the red. I think that was just a bit of adrenaline there. He was just a few shots away from the trophy there. But he looks like he's shaping up for this red. This is very thin and very risky. But he's got it. What a wonderful shot. Has he got 2?
61.
Oh no, but that'll do.
You can start engraving.
68.
You know, when
69.
Stephen Lee beat Marco Fu in a Grand Prix final many years ago, Fu said, I lost 9 frames but didn't make 9 mistakes. Trump could say that tonight. He's lost 3 frames, hasn't made 3 mistakes.
76.
Not played a bad match at all.
No, not at all. That's just that is one of the things about our game, though, isn't it?
77.
But this has been fabulous. Fair play to Kyren. When he got his chance to win, he stepped up and he took it.
He really is the real deal.
82.
He's one of those rare players who doesn't wilt under pressure. He absolutely embraces it.
And just spare a thought, I guess, for his friends and family that can't be here, and they are only 30 minutes away. Normally they would all be here
88.
to celebrate with him.
They'll be watching, though, and they'll be very proud indeed.
Frame and a match.
Judd Trump concedes. That is it. It's been a labyrinthine process, this Bet Victor Championship League, but now it's over. And the champion is Kyren Wilson. He's defeated the world #1, Judd Trump, with a superb performance in the final by 3 frames to 1. And for the first time in his life, he can say he's won a ranking event at home. Well done.
Well, what a final that was. Safe to say, 2 incredibly worthy finalists who played out of their skins. Judd, I'll speak to yourself if that's okay first. First of all, commiserations. Secondly, we're so accustomed to seeing you come to these events and win in finals. What would you put that down to?
I don't know what it's like to lose. It's a bit weird. No. Obviously disappointed, but I literally didn't play a bad shot in the final. And I genuinely mean that. I don't actually think I played a bad shot, and I lost 3-1. So he potted a couple of brilliant balls at the start of the breaks, a good plan, and yeah, he was unplayable in the final. You can't do anything against that.
But it does seem as though you're continuing that form from last year. 6 ranking titles, 2 ranking finals this year, the English, and now this. You must be pretty proud so far.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the season, and it's nice to be involved in finals all the time. It's obviously nice to win, but this tournament I haven't been at my best, the same as the last one, but I managed to sort of scrape through, and it took a brilliant performance to beat me. So as long as I keep forcing the opponent to play their best, then I'm happy with that.
What's changed perhaps with yourself in the last 2 years? Because you seem like a new player. Sean Murphy mentioned there's an aura around you now. You come to these events and, like you say, not necessarily playing at your best at all times, but you still get the results.
I think it's just the confidence of winning all the time. The self-belief when I need to sort of clear up under pressure is obviously very important. And yeah, just I think getting to world #1 and getting the big titles out of the way, and just being able to sort of relax in all the other events now. And
Champion of Champions next, are you eyeing that up already?
Yeah, as long as we don't play again. I think me and Kyren have played about 10 times in a row now. It'd be nice to have a break from each other for one tournament.
Well, Judd, thank you very much. Commiserations again. And I have to now come to the winner. Kyren, I can see by the relief on your face, you are a very happy man. What does that trophy and this title mean to you?
It's just nice that Judd's gifted me this one. He's winning too many at the minute. So, yeah, it's absolutely humongous. I don't know where it's going to go. But, yeah, it's a lovely looking trophy, and I'm delighted to be the last man standing.
Well, with Judd, I asked him the question about how he keeps doing what he does. With yourself, there's possibly the question mark about getting across the line, but you managed it. What do you put that down to today?
I don't know, really. I think Judd always tends to bring the best out in me. You know, you have to play well to beat him. You know, you're not going to fall over the line against Judd. You have to sort of take your chances and try and make things happen. So I felt like I did that right from the off. I potted a really difficult red in the middle and made a 1 visit. And I think in this format, the first frame is crucial.
And in terms of lockdown, how's that treated you? Because for some people, not a lot of access to tables. With yourself, obviously, whatever you're doing, it's working.
to be honest, lockdown has been really difficult for me and my family. My wife's been through a bit of a hard time of it, so you know, she's sort of on the mend now, and it's just enabled me to sort of focus back on my snooker. And yeah, I'm obviously buzzing that I can take that home to her.
And also your sons, Finley and Taylor, Bailey rather, I imagine they'll be absolutely pumped that their dad has won this.
I think I can fit them both in that. Yeah, they always, every time I go away, they say, "Dad, where's the trophy? Where's the trophy?" And you know, the last few I've sort of fell at the final hurdle, so it's great. I can take one home to them.
And I've got to give a word about Taylor, your brother, your confidant, a man who's always with you, not with you right now because of obvious reasons. A little message for him?
Yeah, he'll be buzzing. He gets his bonus now that I've won. So, no, yeah, he's found it really difficult because obviously he's on tour with me, helping me practice, you know, sort of killing time together off the table, and that's so important. It's been really difficult being in isolation, in lockdown, but, you know, fair play to Matchroom and everyone involved that have got this on, because it's really difficult times and they've all done an amazing job.
I think a massive round of applause to Matchroom and everyone behind the scenes who's managed to facilitate this and make it happen once again, like with the English Open. But Kyren, I will not hold you back any further. If you'd like to put down your microphone, and I'm going to exit as we announce. Please feel free to drop it. Mic drop is what that is right there. The man from Kettering handles business. They call him the Warrior for a reason. It is my delight to announce the Bet Victor Championship League snooker champion for 2020, the man from Kettering, the Warrior, Kyren Wilson. Well, 3 times he has been the runner-up in the year of 2020. Not when it comes to the Bet Victor Championship League Snooker 2020. What a performance from the man from Kettering. Drinking in those moments there. Confetti rising, imagining there's a crowd. Many people watching around the world, Kyren. It's safe to say he's a well-loved player. What a performance that was, and against one of the best players to ever play the game in the form of Judd Trump. Judd Trump, the man who's obviously world number 1, and as a result of that, Kyren now becomes world number 5. I'm sure he's delighted, and as I mentioned, Bailey and Finley, his 2 sons, will be pumped. I'll tell you what, Sean, a worthy finalist, a worthy winner.
What a mess they've made of this table. Can we just take a moment to talk about... No, what a final that was. The standard was unbelievable. And I think what Kyren said there was key. In a match of this length, the first frame is vital, and he went for his throat straight away. I thought that was significant. There are sometimes you can just settle into a game. You don't have the time for that in this match, and he went for him for the very first frame.
How do you think his mindset, we mentioned about the fact that his composure is incredible. He managed to do it at the highest possible level. It was a final. It's against the world number 1. He's against the Kosh, but he delivered.
Yeah, it doesn't get any more difficult than that. And as I said in commentary, when you stand there on the hill with a chance to win, that's when you find out about yourself. Not everyone can do that. Everyone's a great player in their own club. All the 1 to 8 lads on the main tour, they're all great players. They can't all stand here under the lights, live around the world, and get a chance to win and deliver. And that's why the rankings are the way they are. Fair play to Kyren Wilson. He said there, you know, lockdown hasn't been easy. It's not been easy for everyone. But to come out of it like this, he's only 30 minutes away from where his family live. They can't be here. That's a little factor. To stand there and deliver is very special.
Mentioned 3 times runner-up in 2020. One of those finals that he lost was against your good self. Different performer compared to when he played you.
Yeah, I mean, I had a very good day myself that day, and snooker can be like that. You heard Judd Trump just say there, he's not really played a bad shot and he's lost. That does happen, and especially in a match of this length where you've got no wiggle room, you can't get out of it. That's just the way it is. But listen, fair play to Kyren. He's played very, very well.
And in terms of momentum, I think you can go on from here with the champion of champions on November the 2nd, which is Monday, by the way. He'll be looking that up as well and just continuing this form.
Well, that'll change his whole outlook on snooker completely. The last few finals he's been in, he's had to make the magnanimous loser's speech. Today he gets to take the trophy. Next week he rolls into another tournament, albeit as one of the favourites now to win the champion of champions.
Well, Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here, and it's my delight to say that the Bet Victor Champions League snooker champion of 2020 is Kyren Wilson. And it turns out the only way to stop a juggernaut is with a warrior. Have a very good night.